All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark. I'm a financial advisor from Advisors Alliance Group, and today we have a very special guest, Adrian Chu, my cousin. Actually, he's actually a renowned career strategist who has been really a business owner for a couple of years, also a headhunter as well for how many decades?
Was a headhunter for about 15 years, long time, placing a
It's been a
C-suite
long
client.
time.
Long time, yeah.
Yes, correct. So I thought it was great to have these conversations today because in such times itself, I think it is good to always have certain insightful research as well as conversations over tea time, especially, so that we can have some better idea on how to prepare ourselves in upcoming months ahead of us. And our today's real topic is such that we want to discuss on jobs, on how we can prepare ourselves and what is one of the best ways to do to be recession proof in such times itself. So maybe, but before we start the conversation itself, maybe like Adrian to share a little bit more about your background.
Okay. Well, I'm many people will know me as Adrian, the career strategist. I'm on radio every Thursday morning, 1FM 91.3, where I share various topics every week on how to better manage your careers and how to develop your career strategy. So I've been in the headhunting / career coaching space for the past almost 2 decades, and it's been quite a long ride. And when I was headhunting, I was placing a lot of C-suite clients. The C-suite means the CEOs, CMOs, very senior folks. And in 2015, I decided to pivot away from headhunting into career consulting. And if you look at my profile on LinkedIn, it does not say that Adrian Chu, the career coach. It's more of the career. I call myself the career strategist. And the reason why I do that is because a career coach wants to do your CV and wants to do your LinkedIn, and they want to help you land a job. But what we believe is that it's not just enough to land a job. You have to have that career strategy for long-term employability, long-term employment, and long-term career satisfaction as well. So landing a job may not solve the problem. For instance, if you land a job where it pays more, but it makes you do more of the stuff that you don't like to do, then it's not a good solution. So what me and my colleagues and my team of very experienced career strategists do is we sit down with our clients to talk about strategies to help plot the longer term strategy for our clients. So we've been in business for the past 3 years, and we're growing quite rapidly. And even though now with the environment not too promising in terms of growth with the virus going around, we are still getting very good demand. In fact, what we're seeing now is an uptick because a lot of people are having more free time on their hand, and they're wondering, what do I do next? What's my next step? And there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. So we are getting a lot of inquiries, and we're helping a lot of people. So that's basically what we do. And any other questions with regards to what we do, Mark?
I think that's a very comprehensive thing. More importantly is I believe I had a friend whom I showed you her original CV before, and when I passed it to you to take a look, and all of a sudden you went like, "Whoa, that's not the way you should go," and that's how you helped out in making sure it became more updated, as well as the information more relevant as well. And I think that helped her quite a bit to snag a job in the subsequent interviews as well. So I thought that was a very amazing way of simply just changing a little bit of how your resume is like, and then you can get more people to take a look at it, and more importantly, to call you back.
Yeah.
Personally, myself, I haven't really gone through a lot of resume sending out before because, as you know, my past, I was a combat officer in the SAF for some time, and back then the only CV we gave was when we were in, I think it was in the recruit days, we had to gather all our stuff together, A-level certificates and all that. At the time, it was, only A-level certs the most, right? And we had to go through a panel because I was going through a local scholarship interview. And that was probably the biggest interview that I ever went across. And I was really worried and scared about that. I didn't have you to guide at the time. I probably would have aced it and probably gone overseas.
No, I think that was good. I mean, your career story is interesting because you served in as a regular. And little known fact, I do not know whether Mark's followers would know this, but he's authored a book as well. And it was a rather very good read. It was really interesting. I still have it. And I think it was good because Mark is one of the few cases where of a regular successfully pivoting into the private sector. Okay. And I still remember one conversation with him many years ago in Serangoon Gardens. We were having coffee one morning. And
Prata, right?
Prata, yes, correct. And I was telling you that because I think you had just come out of army, and you were a very young age, way back then. and I told you that if you look at your career as a life story, you were but a young teenager. Remember this? Remember the conversation?
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And that was a paradigm shift moment for you because it's going like, yeah. So I was telling you that there were a lot of options available because your destiny had not been written yet. So in terms of your career strategy as well, it's you're in charge and you can shift even if you're not a career teenager, even if you're a career midlifer or career retiree or towards the end older. Okay. It's still not too late to write your own career strategy, and that's what we always.
That's right.
You must have the strategy. You cannot just float. You have to act with purpose and move with intent, and that's what I always believe when it comes to careers and career planning.
That's true. So I think moving along, I think it's very interesting to know on how other people can start to create their own career strategy as well for themselves. So maybe let's take a look at how, for example, pre-COVID-19 itself, there was a significantly high number of people already wanting to leave the jobs due to various reasons. But why do you think this was such a case, at least in 2019 itself or 2018 for the matter?
I think in any given environment and climate, everyone wants to leave the job anyway. So there's always that pent up demand. Is there something better? Can I have more money? Can I have a better boss? Can I have more free time? So I think there's always the demand to leave. In 2019, there were already signs of stresses in the system. I know right now in the middle of the COVID crisis right now, people don't realize that even as of last year, they were worried about the Trump trade war. They were worried about a lot of recessions going to be happening anyway. It's just that this tsunami of coronavirus issues have wiped out, have flushed from memory all the negative things that happened last year. So it's always been bad. This has given bad legitimacy. So the way we look at it as well is that it's not going to pick up soon. I mean, today is the 14th of April. If you look back, it's almost just 6 weeks since the start of all this. It started getting bad in Singapore at the end of February, but we haven't quite gotten over the hump yet. So not just in Singapore, but in America, in Europe, we've not even seen the devastation hit the third world countries yet. Okay, so the way we see it, it's going to get worse before it gets better, and for the next quarter or two, it's going to be tough. So right now, all you can do is to hunker down, hang on to your job if you can, and look for options.
Okay. I mean, some may already have lost their jobs as well, and they may be very worried also of this, perhaps a resume gap that they're going to create. And do you think potential employers may see this? How would they look at it? Whether is it sympathetically or
it's okay lah. No one's gonna say, "Oh, you got retrenched during COVID," or "You must be rotten," or "You must be a bad head," or "You must be a bad." No one's gonna say that. So you're gonna have a lot of like even as a headhunter, when I look at CVs and I look at someone who's very senior, and I see in 2000 or 2001. There was a person left the job and 6 months no job. We don't look back negatively at that because that was during the .com bust, or that was during 911, or in 2003 there was a gap. 2008 there was a gap. We don't point a finger and go, why was there a 6-month gap? Because these things are explainable. These things
I
are
see.
justifiable. So even if you lose a job now, it's okay because it's not going to work negatively against you. And if a company wants to hold that against you, then there's probably not a company you want to work for anyway.
I see. That's quite true. That's quite true. Yeah, I mean, after all, they should look beyond this sort of external circumstances and more towards what you can bring forward to the table as well for the company, right?
Yeah, correct. So in fact, that dates and events notwithstanding, even if a person gets retrenched and he goes out of job for 6 months or 9 months, it does not reflect badly upon you either. Because if that's the way the industry goes, and everyone in that industry is retrenching left, right, and center, no one's going to say, hey, I'm going to hold it against you. So if things happen that are beyond your control, don't worry about it. HR, as long as, what's most important is as long as you can explain away with conviction and authenticity what actually happened, I think it's fine. And so therefore you have to get your what we in the career consulting business call your exit statement. You get your exit statement prepared. I think it's fine.
Okay. Exit statement. This is a very interesting phrase down here. So would you like to share a little bit more about what this exit statement is?
Yeah. So when someone asks you what happened in December 2018, what happened over there? Why do you leave company XYZ? Okay, a bad exit statement example would be, oh, I got made redundant. But it's not you getting made redundant, it's your role was made redundant. Okay.
Okay.
Or you can say that, for instance, that there was a huge organization restructuring exercise going on because a new CEO came on board and he had a different strategy from the previous CEO. As a result, there was a reorganization and my position was delayed. For instance, what that means is that I'm in charge of the whole region. Suddenly, that layer of seniors, of managers, was just taken away. And as a result, the role was made redundant, and the role was no longer there. They had offered me a position in China and in Taiwan because they really saw my contribution, but I did not want to join that. I did not want to move because of my family. As a result, they offered me a very exciting and a very enticing package, which I found hard to refuse. So I took that package and I exited the company. And that's why. And that's an example of a good exit statement, for instance, rather than, I got retrenched because I was made redundant, or my boss didn't like me, kind of thing. Those are negative exit statements. Yeah.
So the right words is very important. Yeah.
Yeah, right words in the right context, and you have to. And sometimes you may need some guidance on that, in terms of what exactly to say, and you need to practice it so that it comes across, as I said earlier, with conviction and with authenticity.
Okay, so just like anybody who first maybe say hi to you in an introductory speech itself, you have your own introductory pitch. You should also have one which is an exit one, just in case as well.
Just in case, yeah, just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
Yeah, but you just keep it. You don't have to go into specifics or details, lah. Likewise, one of the most annoying things I see on CVs is reason for leaving. It's like, don't put reason for leaving. It's like, it's archaic. Why do you have to explore a reason for leaving, you know? And it's there are a lot of things. We can talk about CVs another time, but these are things you don't put on CVs. Like the phrase references available upon request. It's like, no, who is it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, no,
that's a very old school thing as well.
Correct. And the other old school thing is skills. I am skilled in Microsoft Office, Excel,
Microsoft Word.
It's like, come on, who is it? It's like, hey, hello, which century are you living in? You know, I can use the mouse, or oh no, I know how to use a PC literate. Is that, oh goodness. So, but one thing funny about that is whenever we see, as a side story, whenever we see a CV that has the word, that has Microsoft Word or Excel as a skill, a lot of times it's symptomatic of a person who's not updated his CV, and that CV is probably 15 years old. and they just forgot to update.
Mm.
And whenever they want to update it, they just update the front end. They forget about the back end. So yeah. But anyway, that's
I see.
another topic for another time. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And but how about people who so we earlier on we spoke about people who were worried that they will be laid off, so they decide to maybe hold ground and stay on the current job for the time being. The second group we just discussed was people who had already been laid off. There's also this group which they probably feel that they may be laid off as well due to the fact that they are seeing that a lot of things happening in the company, like a delay in the pay. Perhaps the boss is not turning up in time already, or even and even currently, right now the fact that they're all at home, but not enough support being given to them as well. So, what do you think can be the first step that they can take to build a pipeline, a solid pipeline for themselves at this point in time while hanging out with the family?
Well, if there are signs that your retrenchments are on the way and your company is going to retrench, two things you can do. Number one is you have to figure out your finances first. Okay, do a financial plan. How much money do you need every month? How much money do you have? How many months can you last? Are there what ways that you have to you can reduce your cost? What can you and if it's not enough, you want preferably to have at least 12 months of salary of free cash flow to support your job search operations. And if there isn't, what else? How do you generate that money? How would do you have to sell your stocks? Do you have to sell your shares? Do you have to sell your kidney or whatever it is? So to basically do a financial plan first. Okay, and once you settle it in, talk to your family members. Tell them that look, the times are tough. Let's pull together. Maybe you can tell your kids, okay, no more expensive steak dinners. Let's eat in more. Let's stuff like that, and get the family all together. But on a career wise, if you are suspecting or you're anticipating being retrenched, have a backup plan. Go network with your old colleagues. Find out what they're doing. Start looking for roles. Start looking for roles almost immediately. But one of the things as a bigger part of your career strategy is you have to ask yourself, even if I land another job, what is the certainty that I won't get retrenched again? Okay, so you have to work within your career strategy whether or not it makes sense for you to jump back into the same industry. If, for instance, if you're in the events management industry, and then you got retrenched, and you want to join another events management company right now, knowing that events are not going to happen anymore, there's no point, you see. So you have to start making plans. And on a bigger scheme of things, you want to ask yourself, like if you ask me, why did I leave Shell? Why did I leave GE Plastics to go into headhunting, which was a very individual contributor type of business? And the reason why I did it was because I wanted to be company independent. If I fail or if I ever lose my job, it's due to my laziness or stupidity. But and therefore I can't get business in, and therefore I fail. But I do not want to lose my job just because some new boss or some new boss's boss comes in, doesn't like my face, and decides to fire me or fire the whole department. You see, so what I'm saying is this: if you are tired, and a lot of my clients are tired of being in the corporate game, okay, what are then your options? You could start a business if you wanted to. If you have a good idea, maybe you could, but that takes a lot of capital. But if you already have certain skill sets, like for instance, if you're already in marketing or if you're already in sales, or if you have a huge network of people, they could consider doing what you are doing, Mark, in terms of the insurance industry, because it's not rocket science to get into. You don't have to study for like 18 months just to get a certificate. You can hit the ground running quite quickly if you have the maturity, if you have the context, and I believe with your organization's training as well, with the systems, with the processes and the branding, I believe they can do quite well quite quickly. So that's why if your job is at stake, and if you're thinking about what else can I do, even if it's in the interim, okay, for the next 18 months while the job market goes bad and no one's going to hire, doing the insurance bit like what you are doing could be a possibility. And I would recommend whoever's watching this, whoever's listening and thinking about it, they should touch base with you. You should be sharing your ideas with them on how it might be a good option for them actually. What do you think?
I think that there is indeed this particular word known as a recession-proof economy. Just like in stocks itself, there are recession-proof stocks. We used to call them dividend zombies because these are the stocks, right? And that will continuously give out dividends year after year. Epidemics after epidemics, war after war, pestilence after pestilence. And some of these companies have been around for a very, very long time. And most of them, if you were to look at them, fall under the same few categories of either in the financial area, like banks, consumables, and essentially things that people will continuously use again and again. But the ones which are not so resistant and resilient to such places, as of now, they happen to be in the trends sector, whereby once a new trend comes in, people forget about this. Like, could you remember Friendster?
MySpace.
Many years ago, right?
MySpace.
Yeah, that's right. MySpace, Friendster. And to be honest, whether or not Facebook as a company will continue to become a resilient company really depends on what sort of value they can provide to all of us, how pervasive they are as well in our lives before they're considered as a zombie resistant or resilient sort of a company. And I think if anyone wants to move towards what we call recession-proof economies and careers, indeed, we should look at some of these. Currently, right now, there's, basically still allowed to work even at this time. Yeah, IT comms and what have you.
Yeah.
So
healthcare,
I think you're right.
Definitely ongoing as well. But I think one of the most transferable skills to have is still selling sales. So the job you're in, it does not hurt if you're not averse to selling. It is a really good skill to have. So in fact, I always tell my kids that selling is very important. It's influencing, it's listening. And if you get your selling skills up to a certain level, you can sell anything. So once you can sell anything, you're almost recession-proof as well. So it's a recession-proof skill to have.
That's right. And I think you started very early in selling stuff, right? I remember the skeletons under the closet.
Yeah, right. So as a side note for those of you who are not familiar, when I was 18, I started a business selling real human skeletons to medical students.
Real human skeletons.
Real human skeletons. And it was fun. I did it because it was on a dare by my older brother, who was a medical student at the time. And not too bad lah. It was quite fun because I learned a lot, and at any one point in time I had like about 15 to 20 skeletons literally in my closet. So it was really funny.
There was one Chinese New Year, I remember you came out of the room and holding on to one, I think it was a femur, and then you were, hey, look, what a bone. And we were like, whoa, what's that? I think we were very young at the time. We were just screaming in shock.
Yeah, it was fun scaring the kids. Yes, correct.
So you mentioned sales skills as being one of the relevant skills to have in this time. What other skills do you think we could have to stay relevant?
Well, there's soft skills and there's hard skills. Okay, so soft skills would include sales, would include people management, would include influencing, but this often not enough. Okay, you have to focus on your hard skills as well, because at the end of the day, your clients, your employers are paying you for your skills, and the same, and it's the same everywhere you go. If you want to go to a dentist, if your dentist doesn't have a skill, you're not going to visit the dentist again. If you even right down to the plumber, if you pay him $200 to fix a choke in your toilet bowl, and you're paying him for his skill and his knowledge in getting it fixed and getting it resolved. So everywhere you go, it's a skills-based economy. So you have to have the hard skills as well, not just the soft skills. And hard skills would include, technical skills. For instance, if you're in the hand, using your hands, things like fixing things, those are hard skills. But resolving problems, like for instance, if you're in IT technology, having the skills to troubleshoot, having the skills to develop solutions for it. Okay, critical thinking skills as well is another area, and it's very useful to have hard skills like for instance operating certain softwares as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And there are lots of skills. It's a huge plethora of skills that if you sit down and slowly inventory one by one, you will actually have a huge plethora of skills that you never knew that you had. So these are skills, but the downside about having skills is that you have to consistently upgrade as well. You have to, Skills Future for us Singaporeans, we have so much. We got another $1,000 coming our way for Skills Future credits. Use it to learn things other than pottery or woodwork or learning how to those silly fluffy type courses like learning Korean. Yeah, so learn new skills, even if it's just data analytics, or online marketing, digital marketing. Yeah, pick up new skills that are in vogue and in demand.
Okay. So we do also have a couple of our friends, who have already been affected in such a way whereby the demand for their services almost immediately dropped. Like for example, the first to be hit really was the people in the tourism industry, hospitality as well.
Yeah.
So we have our cabin crews, then after that our people working in the airports itself. Hospitality was still safe because at least we have the Singapore government bringing in some of these people from overseas back and then had to stay in the hotels for a while. So what are some of your words of advice for people from these industries being affected right now?
Think long term. Ask yourself, will my industry in its current form still be around 2 years, 3 years from now? If the answer is no, what changes can I make? What else can I pivot into? Don't go into a state of denial thinking that, we don't, it's okay, it won't affect me, I'll just carry on where I'm doing. So you need to figure out what are the changes and what can I do to adapt. For instance, if you are a trainer, okay, and the training market is going to change because the companies won't probably want to organize large scale training anymore. Therefore, what are the skills I need to adapt? Do I need to learn how to use Zoom? Do I need to learn how to train one-on-one via or one-to-many via e-learning? How do I develop curriculum for the e-learning platforms? So you need to figure all that out. And what is particularly important now is for people who are driving private vehicle drivers, like for Grab,
the Grab drivers,
drivers, Gojek. Okay, Grab driving has never been a career, period. Okay, in a sense that there's very little longevity in that, because in 8 years time or 10 years time, when it goes fully autonomous, the autonomous vehicles, you might not need that kind of skill anymore. So what's happening is that you might paint yourself in a corner where you become absolutely skillless. Okay, and that is something that's keeping the government up at night as well, because I understand they are close to, at the peak of it, there are close to 60,000 private hire vehicle drivers in Singapore. 60,000 licenses were issued in total. That's a lot. Okay, and if you look at the profile of it, half of them are below 40. Okay? So what does that mean? That means that there are a lot of young people who are underemployed. Okay. Yeah, and in 10 years time, you're looking at a huge army of people who are unskilled. So if you're driving for Grab now, okay, think what other things can you do? And if you really can't do anything else, you can't really think of any other skills that you have, then I would recommend you do what we call a career reboot. Okay, start from
career
scratch.
Reboot. Okay.
Yeah, start from scratch, start right from the bottom. One of the best ways to career reboot, honestly, is join you, Mark, join your company, start afresh in a totally new industry, take a huge pay cut. I did a career reboot when I joined headhunting back in 2003. Okay, I took a huge pay cut that was so ridiculous that my wife nearly murdered me. Okay, but she said, "You crazy? We got a 1-year-old kid and you're drawing that kind of salary." But I thought, no worry, within the next 9 months, I'm gonna my commissions are gonna way exceed what the money I was making in GE Plastics. Okay, and I was wrong. It was not 9 months. It was 6 months. Okay. So yeah, so it was a calculated risk, but you can do the kind of risk when you're 30 years old, see. But now if you're so you have to figure out how do I reboot, and selling insurance or selling properties or something like this, which in one way or other it's a fresh start. But on the other hand as well, as you would recognize, your insurance industry is also changing a lot. Because right now, it's insurance agents used to thrive on information asymmetry. Because they knew more, agents knew more than their people, than their customers. Therefore, they could sell things. Today, you just jump online. Today, there are portals where like GoBear and all these pieces.
Comparative.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
What's the value add that you can create? But to me, some people may say it's a threat, but to me, I think it's an opportunity, because then you shift gear into something that's more value add. And I believe that if you know what you're doing, and if you work hard enough, and you have good mentors, good system, good branding for the platform you're selling, okay, I don't call it a company, but the platform you're on, then it would be a good way to reset your career.
Absolutely. In fact, I mean, nobody knew or could have even imagined that a web advisory, even sharing sessions like this today as we are talking, will be possible last year at this time.
Yeah.
Most will still be trying to go about their own way of coffee, tea, drinks, all that stuff, and it would have been really something. We are still having coffee too. It's quite amazing how in just a short 2-3 months, everybody is now forced towards doing something which is different, and yet, right, we know that everything has changed, and if we continue this way of doing things, we can only come out stronger, and more resilient than ever before. So in summary, right, if I was trying to capture the main points that we're discussing earlier on, first, right, is to have some form of a career strategy for yourself. Because once you understand what you want to do, it's easier to plot your movement ahead, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And in order to do so, you must take stock of your current assets, because if you realize that you don't have much fats in terms of your financial capabilities or abilities, then, it will be a more uphill task to tell the wife, let's leave our three-year-old kids at home while I focus on finding a new job with no money. I'm sure she would kill us, every one of us as well.
Yes.
Second is to have that critical ability to question your strengths and your weaknesses, because you want to make sure that you're moving on to something which you can do better. Nobody moves from a job to another being worse off, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then you did also mention thirdly about building this network of friends, of people who could help you move towards places that you've never been before, as well as to careers and opportunities that you never thought that it could be possible for yourself. I mean, just like, from plastics, you were there as a HR role or operations?
No, I was there as business development. I'm always a salesman through and through.
Business development.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, correct. So right now it is the ability for each and every one of these people and friends out down there who can, once they understand about taking stock, questioning their strength and weakness, building this network, they'll be at a very good position to do a reboot in their career.
Yeah, correct. It's not easy because that entails you coming out of your comfort zone. That entails you having to flex and grow new muscles, and it takes a lot of courage. But if you have to think to yourself, it's painful if I do, but if I don't, I'll be dead. It's career death. So use that kind of thinking, and of course, you don't have to go at it alone. Okay, engage a career coach. They're not very expensive, and you can have the advantage of someone else who has many more years of wisdom and experience to guide you through. Yeah, so you don't have to get it alone. Like if you want to lose weight, you can go hit the gym, you can go run about in circles and everything. But if you just invest in a gym instructor or fitness instructor, it cuts your learning curve tremendously, right?
Correct. True. And to my friends out down there, Adrian himself has been in this business and this line for some time, and I did mention earlier on how I helped a friend, simply by taking her resume and giving to him to take a look, and he could just change a little bit here and there and make sure that it was more relevant. Yeah, some magic here and there.
But it's more than
these are some things. Yeah.
But it's more than just the resume itself.
Resume, yes.
I remember your friend, the reason was because your friend's positioning was all incorrect. Okay, she was positioning herself as something else, which was not in demand at the time. So it's not just about reformatting. The career story was not coming out, and the strategy itself was not robust. So the CV was corrected, but what's more important was the thinking behind the CV, the thinking behind the repositioning. And those are the elements which we are pretty good at helping out with.
Yes, and Adrian was absolutely correct when he mentioned that when just like an athlete would have a coach beside the athlete to push themselves towards a peak performance, I think even for ourselves in career, it is always good to have either a mentor or a coach to assist help us in such a moves itself, so that we don't have to start from scratch. We don't have to bump our heads against the wall, but really to stand on the shoulders of giants like yourself, Adrian, so that they can understand how they can move ahead, and more importantly, know and understand that the community behind them. They don't feel scared, as they move along to a new career, a new path itself also.
Yeah, that's true. And just don't be afraid, I would say. Okay, my biggest takeaway is don't be afraid of change. It's like change is like buying a new pair of shoes. Okay, they are uncomfortable at first. You walk around, you're complaining, my old shoes were so much more comfortable. I don't want to walk around with these. But after a while, you grow used to it. Either the shoe fits you or you fit the shoe. Okay, but after a while, you get more comfortable with it. And so get comfortable with. I know it's very cliche, but get comfortable with change. And I'm not going to say that change is the only constant. So I didn't say it. Okay, but we're in very uncertain times. We are in a space right now where you have to learn new things. So just a very quick example is like my wife. She gives private tuition, and because of this lockdown, circuit breaker. Okay, she has had to learn how to use Zoom. So the first few sessions were like absolutely. What do I click? What do I do? And everything. But right now she's killing it. She's just rocking. She's like, okay, click here, click there. This is how you annotate. This is how you do it. And she's a pro now. So I'm saying, in the long run, it might even be more fun to coach via Zoom than face to face. So I don't know, but it's a new muscle. Like all new muscles, new exercise that you do. You grow muscles very quickly, and after a while, it's like not anymore. So embrace change.
Embrace change, yeah. Okay, awesome. I think it's been a great session today. Even though we didn't really eat and drink tea, but like what we mentioned early on, everything has changed. We can now have tea over the internet as well, and I think it was an awesome time. That I have you to share with us all these things, and I look forward to having more such sessions and conversations with yourself, and as well as many other esteemed speakers and coaches and trainers out there also.
Lovely, nice having a
nice awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Thank you.
And if any one of you out there want to reach out to me, you can email me at adrian@careeragility.org, or you can WhatsApp me 8838-0557. Anytime. Happy to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good one, guys. Take care. Bye.
Okay, see you. You too. Bye-bye.